It's the Daily Talk Show, episode 391.
What's going on, guys? What's happening?
It's
Fat Fridays.
You okay?
Mate, you spoke so fucking slow. I literally thought about what I need to do tonight, what I want to do on the weekend, all within your intro. That's how slow you fucking
Fat
spoke.
Fridays.
You're either you've got a sugar low, which means, I remember as a kid, I've got this such vivid memory. I felt like I was hallucinating. I mean, I was in parts of my childhood and my teenage years, but
When were you hallucinating?
No, I just remember smoking a lot of weed. But I
Do you
remember.
hallucinate smoking weed?
You get a bit trippy.
But
What's
the most full-blown? Is it a hallucinogenic?
I had cookies once, and cookies they have the same drug as marijuana within them, THC, but it's different. It goes through your body differently when you ingest it. Something happens, and it's the closer thing to a hallucinogen or a psychedelic. I've never done psychedelics, but I've done cookies that fucked me up, and it's literally why I didn't touch marijuana for 10 years
afterwards.
After that, because I was like, I'm so paranoid. I was like convinced people were dying. It was just like stupid.
Full-on experience.
I gave them to somebody else, a bunch of other people in my house, and then I came down to the back room. And they're all on the couch. They literally went, "What have you done to me?"
Really?
I just was like, and in that state, everyone's fine. No one's fucking dying. But when
it feels like you're dying.
I was just like, went back in, and then I was convinced my girlfriend was cheating on me. Turns out she was. But
Was she really?
Yeah, but I don't. She did cheat on me, but she was getting text messages, and I was convinced that it was like she was having it off with some guy.
So do you think that so maybe was it like some sort of unconscious instinct that the cookies brought out into?
Nah, I don't think so. It just was paranoia.
Okay.
And it was true. So they were both right.
And so what's the feeling?
I remember as a kid being so hungry and getting lightheaded, and it must have been insulin, like some kind of blood sugar stuff. But I remember being out on the trampoline, and I was like, I hadn't eaten, and I was just like, it felt out of body. It was weird. I reckon that's where you're at right now.
Well, yeah, I would do that a lot, but I was going through a stage where I lost a bunch of weight. It was the most unhealthy way. Would fast all day and then have a packet of natural confectionery company lollies. And that was about like one of the smaller
packets. It's your
packets.
North Star, isn't it,
It's
buddy?
about 700 calories or whatever. So what are you looking at, Mr. 97?
No, we're all good. I was just checking the camera.
Yeah.
You happy?
Yeah.
You had your 700 calories. And then
700, well, that was it. And so I was losing weight, starving myself.
It's calories in, calories out. You can lose weight eating cornettos once a day. If you're a fat guy.
You can eat cornettos 3 times a day and probably still.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, there will be diminishing returns at some point.
What do you mean?
You get to a point where your body is adapted to the cornetto diet and you need
know
to
what
shift it up.
cornettos are, 3D deal?
Never heard
It's like a drumstick. Do you know drumsticks?
I know what drumsticks are.
And
so
ice cream.
Yes.
Yes, great.
Yeah, so
all right.
Chicken.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Chicken.
Speaking of, let's get out of this psychedelic state. And Jesus, hold that. That is fucking heavy. We've got it's so
It's
heavy.
finger licking good.
So
Just a trademark of KFC. Fried chicken Australia.
Ruru, we have to give you a shout out because it was your idea. On the KFC app, you can access a secret menu. And the way I
just did my
Ruru
first
mentioned this.
thumbnail.
Yeah, but you always point it out too far and it loses focus. So there's no fucking point. Anyway, I saw this come up in my Facebook feed yesterday, and it was the biggest burger that KFC have. It's not on their main menu. It's on their secret menu.
Oh, this wrap's tiny. What's this for?
Okay, so I got 4 things. This is, I want to pull out the menu. I want to pull out the order. I mean, I have spent a fair bit of time working out how to access this. It was cheap. It's like $30.
Great.
It's junk. This shit is junk, right? But
there goes the KFC integration. I was hoping to send it as a little snippet for them.
no, but I mean, if I was to be honest, I'm not listening to my body today. I don't feel like eating this one bit. But in the true spirit of Fat Friday, definitely.
You got to do it. Yeah.
I definitely
You got the weekend to recover.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go into this. So in their menu, I literally spent 10 minutes working out how to do this. So you hold it at the top and you swipe down and you got to hold it. You saw me doing it, Mr. 97. I'm like, basically it looks like you're fucking it up. And I was like pulling down. And all of a sudden, little Colonel pops up and he's like, mate, you want an order? You want to get the secret menu? And there's a secret menu bar and there's 4 things on the secret menu. One of them is what was it called, Deal? I can't remember. I've got to do it again. See, look here. Oh, there we go. Secret menu popped up. All right. The triple stacker, which is the big fuck off size burger that is 4,393 kilojoules.
Kilojoules. It's fine.
The Nuggalot, which is a burger with nuggets inside.
Wasn't much of a nugget kid growing up.
Or the Kentucky Slider. And the Kentucky Slider.
Do you know what I don't like
about
that?
Small little fella.
Yeah, sliders.
Okay, sliders.
Sliders are an inferior product. Sliders are always small.
Yeah.
Sliders are to be shared. Sliders are disliked.
So anyway, they're the 3 menu items.
Don't you agree though? Sliders are always disappointing. Grilled.
I've had
Go
some
to grilled, get 3 sliders.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
I've had some good sliders as finger food at parties, but you didn't order the sliders. You just take them what you can get, and they were nice. Anyway, so this thing is so heavy. This burger is huge. It is geez, that is a solid burger. I got one for you, big baby.
You.
And
is there something? I was recording something for Specsavers again.
Deal.
Yeah. He put in free chips.
So
why?
No, they said to me, and this is the second time we've been at KFC where they don't have any more zinger fillets. And he said, we've only got 2 zinger fillets left.
Kidding me?
Those burgers are meant to have 2 zinger fillets in each.
11 a.m. on a fucking Friday and they don't have...
Maybe there's a bunch of fatzos getting their, secret menu on. Anyway,
Bullshit.
So what they did was put 1 zinger patty plus another chicken patty in those big triple
Did we pay for it?
Stackers. Yeah. We still paid the same price, but I said to him, what do I say to him, Dill?
You used to just said, throw in a free chips. And the guy sort of looked at you questioning.
He's like, what?
So what the
I said, free chips. He said, oh, yeah.
I got you. And
that's good.
Hey, got free chips.
He's got
Can I have a chip now, please?
Look at him salivate. No, I don't want you to have one.
It's finger licking good. I've never actually noticed that as a KFC line.
Anyway, this is the other burger, which is the Nug.
Why are KFC chips always soggy?
They were at the bottom of the pack. Okay, guys, what do we want? I know. JJ wants himself a triple stacker. I kind of just want a bite of the triple stacker. I'm willing to, and I know Mr. 97 doesn't. I mean, he's not
a germaphobe.
He's not a triple stacker kind of guy. But I think 3D Dill is.
I'll crush that.
But what I want to ask is, can I have a bite of your triple stacker?
Most definitely.
To start with, I think you and I have a munch into.
Jesus.
It feels like a leg of ham. Like it feels like the denseness of a leg of ham. Mate, are you going to do this or what?
Yes. Oh, do you want to do a thumbnail?
Mate, are you okay?
Why? Be honest. We're on
a podcast, dude. Did you know we're recording?
I know.
Video show?
We're trying. I know, and I'm thinking we want to get better at headlines and thumbnails. So let's do a thumbnail.
Okay. I'm just going to read you before this. We're being tripling out here. Get ready for not 1, not 2, but 3 juicy zinger fillets. So we're fucking 4.
Can you do a voiceover voice? Because
what the fuck am I doing? Am I not doing that?
Higher energy.
Why do we need higher energy? It's for
Specsavers because I did a read for them and had to do a higher energy.
We be tripling out here. Get ready for not 1, not 2, but 3 juicy zinger fillets.
Less carnival and more.
That was very carnival. Smoky bacon and cheese with fiery chili relish and supercharged sauce. If you dare, not for the faint-hearted. Here at KFC.
Can I try?
Nah.
Please? Just one last. And then I want to hear 3D Dill because he nearly got a VO job and press the...
No,
it's all good.
Okay.
We be tripling out here. Get ready for not 1, not 2, but 3 juicy zinger fillets, smoky bacon and cheese with fiery chili relish and supercharged sauce. If you dare, not for the faint-hearted. Faint-hearted. The faint-hearted. Faint-hearted. What do you think?
Great.
That was actually quite good, wasn't it?
Not bad. We'll give it to Dill.
I want to hear 3D Dill.
3D Dill.
All right.
You want me to do high energy? Or?
No, just mate, do
whatever feels right for the read.
Yeah.
You do you, baby.
Okay. The triple stacker. We be tripling out here. Get ready for not one, not two, but 3 exclamation point. Juicy zinger fillets, smoky bacon and cheese with fiery chili relish and supercharged sauce. If you dare. Not for the faint-hearted.
Wow, what a read.
Lock up your wives. So it's, as you were saying, the smoky bit, I smelt it. It's amazing. Like,
is that sauce? Smoky sauce?
There's like a smoky sauce. Oi!
Sorry.
Fuck.
I didn't take a bite.
Literally, weren't we going to do it together? Isn't he just like... We go into a supermarket and it's like you're like, oh, guys, my North Star. And then all of a sudden you're in the lolly aisle.
I'm just seeing what's on special.
But Pete Shepherd, you and I went into and Pete and I were like, where the fuck's Josh? And then you're firing back at, you're like, it's just in the lolly aisle.
No, well, because you're fucking trying to work out, which kombucha, like, I want to get the small ones, but they're $3.90. You're doing like
I'm happy to be that guy.
I guess so.
What I'm saying is that it's just like, it's instinct. It's almost like you're already there. It's amazing.
It's got a good weight to it.
Anyway, it's very heavy. Count us down, 3D deal in your sexy voice before we take this big bite.
Are you ready?
Yes. Here we go.
3, 2, 1.
Oh my God.
You fucked up by giving it to Dill.
Yeah.
It's so young.
I could hardly get my mouth around it.
Yeah.
I mean, you went bigger than I did, I think. I did a smaller bite because I know I get to keep eating it.
Mr. 97, can I have a bite of your nugget burger?
Yeah.
Are you going to eat the nugget burger once he's...
Oh, hang on. Okay. Wow. So it's just a big fillet and then there's a few nuggets in there. I mean, you don't have to eat this, baby. Here we go. Hang on. I'm just going to bite it.
If you don't want the nugget burger, I'll eat it.
Okay.
I mean, that's smaller. The hard thing with burgers that are just patties is it just tastes like you're eating a patty. Like
You've made such a mess on your face, by the way. It's really, it's not ideal. Yeah, have we got any... Oh, I wouldn't have used paper to wipe your face like that.
Man, I use whatever I got.
It's not working, though. Oh, it's like orange. It looks like you've got a ranger beard. Definitely has that vibe.
Wow. Anyway.
So...
pass that to Mason.
We've been working on the dailytalkshow.com website.
Yeah, well done, boys. That's a solid effort.
Great job, 3D Dill and Mr. 97. Feeling very good about the website. Blog posts. What are you thinking, 3D Dill? What are you trying to work out?
Well, I was just making intimate eye contact with Mason, Mr. 97. And I said, do you want the burger? Because I was going to bring the burger over to him. And he said, no, you eat it.
Oh, that's good.
That's nice.
Yeah,
when you know he will too.
Yeah, he definitely will.
I'm going to crush this.
Dude, you got shit the side of your face. You look like my grandfather.
What does that mean? He's dead?
I used to dribble. At the end of his innings, he he always have a hanky. And he'd get his hanky out.
Hankies, disgusting.
Hankies are from the anyone born in the 50s uses hankies. I mean, there is a case though where a hanky is quite convenient. If you're a chippy, if you're someone who works on the tools outdoors, it is convenient. But there is the fact that you've got to...
You can put one down, 3D Dill. He's currently got...
Jeez, Louise.
But can you do a photo for Instagram stories of what he's doing right now?
Yeah, it's pretty full on. Shit all over his face. And yeah, he's looking good. Anyway, hankies, yeah. I got into using a hanky because my dad also uses a hanky. So maybe it was
When do you wash them?
End of day.
Oh, every day you wash the hanky.
You can't. What are you going to do? It becomes like dry.
Disgusting. And you blow your nose on it.
Of course.
In the washing machine or with water?
No, in the washing machine. Just whack it in.
Every day.
Mate,
so you have to wash.
What do you do after you've entertained yourself at night in bed? And then what do you do with those pants?
At the end of the week, you put them in the wash.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Poor Denise. Anyway. Oh, wow. Look at this cute little slider.
When would you have, let's say the slider? I guess it's a slider. It's more of a wrap. It's more like a taco.
Yeah.
I'd be more interested if they called it a taco. When was the was the last time that you had KFC that wasn't for content?
With you three gronks, when we were coming back from Leeton, where we stopped in at Shepparton, we did an episode of The Big Strawberry.
Outside of that, like when would you and Amy go and have KFC?
No, we don't. We don't.
Yeah, I haven't in a very long time.
You can get like a pretty cheap box from KFC that's like a $4 box or something.
like a bucket sort of thing, almost like that.
Just this little meal. Amy's got a few times.
Do you remember when popcorn chicken came out?
I was obsessed with it. I loved it.
Do you remember 97?
Yeah, it was great.
It was a huge thing.
When I was young, the Zinger first came out, and my brother and I, Mikey was really into it. And I remember he just got his license and would drive up Nepean Highway to the closest KFC, which was in Ormond, and we'd get a Zinger burger. But it was interesting because it was specifically around getting the Zinger burger and it being spicy. And I mean, it's
a lot of flavour.
Yeah, but we are so spoiled now for food choices.
So
in
what
Australia.
do kids do? Like, what is the equivalent now?
Mate, going out for brunch and getting smashed avocado. That's what the fuck's up.
But this is what I'm confused about, because Bree mentions this every single time some young girls who are like 14 walk past. Bree always says, I can't believe how fashionable young people are now. Is that that our perception? What's going on?
No, 100%. It is the times. The clothes that people wear now weren't popular when we were growing up. Slippery pants were. I mean, I'm still wearing them.
But there was a difference between what adults would wear and what we would wear as kids. Whereas now, what kids are wearing are the exact same things adults are wearing.
Yeah. And then you've got people like my grandfather who wore slacks, shirts every day, well groomed, old school. Think about grandparents nowadays. They'll be in fucking onesies. They'll be in Adidas. You know, like think about like what is classified as cool, that kind of streetwear.
Sure.
Like imagine a 95-year-old bloke wearing itch pig. He looked like he just got out of jail.
Yeah, it's a certain look.
Well, it's cool, and I think young skaters and shit and young kids make it look cool. There's definitely something to be said about old people wearing what young people would wear, and then the old people just looking cool as fuck. There's a woman, I think, I remember she would go to music festivals. She was like, 80s or 90s, and she was hip. And she looks, I just remember it was like.
Is it try hard at that point, or she's just always been cool?
Maybe she just knows the times, right? And so what we're saying is there's a shift between what old people wear and what young people wear. And so then it's not try hard because that's just what people wear. I mean, it's an interesting one. I mean, people who wear. We had Harper on, who his fashion is whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck.
Doesn't give a fuck. Doesn't think about it. He's worn the same thing since I've known him. I realised that I messaged Craig Harper when I was 17, 12 years ago. That's a long time ago.
It had actually gone over my head that you'd contacted him for that original job.
Dude.
I thought that the first time... I thought you went on a program that he did or whatever, so it started way earlier. How did they even get on your radar? Because it's not like you would have...
The girl who cheated on me.
What was her name? Jessie.
Rachel. And
was it a big blow up? How did it happen?
Here's the thing, guys. If you have a fucking partner that you know has cheated on you, and I know you've read the messages that say, I miss you, I wish we were snuggling right now. She's cheating on you. He's cheating on you. Get the fuck out of there. Don't do yourself a disservice staying around.
And so what happened?
I remember I found that exact message looking through her phone, because then you become this fuckwit who's
it would have been like
insecure
a Nokia.
and looking through phones and trying to find shit.
How old were you?
18. Yeah, I was 18. Like I remember she didn't even come to my 18th birthday because, I mean...
Wait, this is before you broke up.
It's so long ago. We were together and she didn't even come to my 18th birthday because her friend was born on the same day, had my birthday, the 1st of September. She went to her birthday instead, which I get it, but it's also we were dating and it was a bit unusual.
Strange.
And anyway, she was cheating on me and ended up breaking up. But her dad's new wife, so it wasn't her mum, it was a stepmom or soon to be stepmom. I think they were getting married. Was a PT. She was lovely and I was getting into it. And so like I'm fucking networking with her. She had a studio at her house and she's like, I've got this.
So you were hanging out with the girlfriend's stepmom,
No.
doing a bit of Pilates.
No, nothing like that. I went around there once, I think, and then I've always thought about what I want, whether it be personal training, whether it be getting into video, and looked for the perfect moment to network. I got my first video job by going to a cafe, bumping into a guy who I went to school with, who owned a business up in Sydney, and he said, "What are you doing? What are your skills?" I said, "Videos, blah, blah, blah." He said, "Right, I'll speak to some people at the office." I got a call that afternoon, got at work, and it's kind of kickstarted my career. But same when I was young, 17, I met them and I was like, I just saw it as an opportunity. Great, I'm doing this. Loved it. And I just get curious, right? And for some reason, I got onto the fact that Harper's gym was somewhere, I'd love to go down there. I'd love to. She's like, I know Craig. I've been working down there. I've never actually spoken to Craig about her since.
I wonder if Rachel's stepmom listens to Harper's podcast.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you reckon she would remember you?
I mean, maybe is like, that was a boyfriend at that time. I actually don't think they're together anymore.
Okay.
So anyway.
Good bit of goss.
She gave me his number. And I remember where I was. I was at my mate Christian's house up in Elsternwick and I went out the front, heart beating. It's probably how Mason felt when he was going on his first date. I was about to call a guy named Craig Harper, who, you know, he was the man, first PT studio in Australia, calling him, cold call. And so I can't even remember if she said to him that I would be calling. And so I called.
Weird, isn't it?
It's so weird. And I just called and I think I've had his number in my phone ever since because I haven't changed my number. And I called and I just remember saying, I basically said, "Oh, I'm looking for work. I'd love to work in your gym." And he said, "No, you can come in and do some work experience." And I remember going there. I remember walking from my house in Brighton because I quit school and you know, mum was working or whatever, dad was working, and I had to walk. And I remember I had a cold, but I was like, I'm not showing up. Like I just got to show up. And I did, and I felt shitty, and I did it. But it's interesting how shit like that. Harps is in here, and he's one of our biggest supporters now.
I mean, what did your parents say when you decided not to go back to school?
It was a long time coming. Like I hadn't really been involved with school. I'd been checked out for a long time and more focused on my social life.
Did they ever give you an ultimatum, like if you don't sort your shit out, you got to find somewhere else to live?
No, never.
That's
like that.
good. A lot of parents. I feel like a lot of families are like that.
I mean, it's one approach of many, right? It's I'm not
Do
a
you
drug
think
addict.
that you would? Could you imagine with Bodhi, what sort of, you know, what sort of parent are you going to be at that stage?
I've always, for some reason, I think if there's something tough going on, I'd like to pull him out of school and just go traveling with him. Like, imagine that. He's
cool.
just feeling shit and we're just like, dude, let's fucking go overseas. Just me and him and mum and whatever. You know, even if we've got another kid, him and I can just go and explore. I can't wait. I was thinking this week, I was like, I cannot wait to be able to just text him, just go, do you want to have lunch? Like, I can't wait for that, you know? It's a
like
weird...
when he's in school, you're going to be like,
yeah, even
be the
young,
dad
just
that-
like, what are you doing? Like, Saturday, should we go fucking go for a bike ride and get lunch? Like, I just, for some reason, I don't know, it's so cool.
that would be fun.
It's a best friend, you know, like it's like another Brie.
Yeah.
Imagine having another Brie. Actually, you know, that sort of like you love Brie unbelievably. It's like you got that same
Got another one. And
comfortableness around them.
what happens when you have a kid with your relationship with your partner?
Yeah, it's hard. It's much. I think When we were away, I listened to this John Legend song, and he's a pianist, singer, amazing. It's going out with Chrissy Teigen.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to give you some reference to who he is. You
Does
know who
anyone
he is?
else
He,
know?
sing-
Yeah,
he
I
sings
know who he
All
is.
of Me.
Yeah,
You would have heard it.
Yeah, definitely.
That
You would
really-
belt out some
that
of
really
his songs.
sad romantic
Yeah.
song.
How does it go, Mr. 97?
Oh, I'm not giving you a demo.
Anyway, we danced to him at our wedding.
I thought you meant on the weekend.
No,
That
but-
would have been fucking cute.
It's one of those
Just
things.
like getting into
I think if you once you have a thing you do with your partner.
Mhm.
Ours for Amy and I, before we would go out in Sydney, would drink some ciders and put on some John Legend, and it was lovely. And so we loved listening to him. But in one of his songs, I can't remember the words, but it was just about how relationships are hard, right? And when you have a kid, things change. It's not as easy to have sex.
Mhm.
It's not as easy to connect because you've got this distraction, this thing you need to look after. And so it becomes more of a challenge. But with that, this is why I can see why a lot of relationships, marriages don't work
Mhm.
when kids come into the picture. It's easy to just fucking focus your attention on the kid and away from your relationship. And so, yeah, it's challenging.
Do you think there's a default that you need to feel like, there's that default that, you should have kids and that maybe you're selfish if you don't have kids or you're missing out on something?
I think you're missing out. I don't think you're selfish.
Mm.
I think we're all selfish either way if we have kids or not. I just think about when I didn't have kids and I thought, well, fuck, where was all that time that I now focus on my child? Like doing this podcast 7 days a week in business. I've also got a kid that that I've found time for, which is amazing that we
Which
all
I think
have
is
time.
interesting. I think the interesting bit is that it is that that's framed in missing out, because I think that like everyone's got a unique experience, or they're all everyone, like you might be a great dad, or you might have, that might be an aspiration.
Missing out sounds like it's negative. I don't think it has to be.
Well, missing out feels like
negative.
it's a universal thing that you're missing out on.
I don't think but I don't think it doesn't have to have a negative connotation it's associated with it. The missing out could be, remember, any advice is always referenced with personal experience. So the the love I have for Bodhi, I would love you to experience in that way because of what it's done for me.
But isn't it like everyone seeks fulfillment in different ways?
Yeah, and it might not be for you.
But that's the thing, like the default, the way that some people talk about parenting or having a kid, it's using that one unique experience, or this changed me, or I'm, better off because of X, Y, and Z. Similar to like
what do we have
faith.
to go on though? And so if it's you love reading or you love making videos, oh dude, you got to try it. I know missing out is one way of phrasing it. It's probably not the right turn of phrase. It's amazing. It is life-changing. It is all these things or not.
Yeah.
You might hate it. You might be a shit dad that's like, I'm not saying you are, but it might be the thing is like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Like I like being selfish.
But I wonder how many people feel the pressure to have a kid or have a family or to get married or to buy a house or to do whatever it is based on the universal narrative that you've got to do it.
I mean, I heard someone say in regards to having children and purpose, and it was like, what's the point when you're old if you don't?
And I think that's the.
But what's the point? You like, to have somebody to love, to have, and if you can't do it, I get it, right?
But that's why I think that it comes from a privileged position.
Of course, it's privileged,
Yeah.
but I don't think it means that you can't have that thought, and I think you can have they're the same. Like you can have a conversation about that. That doesn't mean that anyone who can't do that sucked in. It's just like
what do you think?
It is
Mr.
what it
97?
is.
Yeah, I think it's interesting looking at it from like from a negative standpoint in terms of like missing out on it, because I would probably say I'm more similar to Tommy in regards to wanting kids and being able to experience all the things that Tommy's talking about, but it doesn't discount the fact that you don't find you might not find enjoyment in having those kids, or you might not experience the same emotions. So it's completely dependent upon the person.
Yeah. Because I guess if we're all wired differently, and some people are wired one way and some people are wired another way, it's like, even like, I'm wary of like when we talk to Mr. 97 about relationships, we're going on it based on our unique experience. And it comes from a good place, which is like, we see the value in having long-term relationships. But there's also a bunch of people who, Craig Harper is a great example, someone who has a huge amount of fulfillment, has a lot of happiness. And I don't know how productive or fair it is to, feel like those people are missing out, or it's that there's a missed opportunity. Like, I don't think that the idea that everyone needs to become parents needs to be the thing.
Yeah, I think we'd have a massive problem if every single person that could reproduced on this earth. Yeah, we've already got overpopulation in some areas. They're restricting it in places like China. It's like one child, or there's some crazy rule. 3D deal. What do you want kids?
Yeah, I want kids, but at the same time, like, I want, like, from your perspective, Tommy, I would want to have that experience with my kids someday. But at the same time, to your point, Josh, I love my alone time, and I love just being able to do what I want when I want. I don't have to worry about taking care of this other thing in my life. So it's a bit of a toss up, but maybe it's figuring out what's best for you at that point in your life, because like, I'm not going to have kids now. I'm going to have kids in 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 years. And at that point, further on down the road, it might be the right time for me.
I guess it comes down to, what are your values? What's important in life? Because I get, like, there's a lot of parents who don't see their kids. They might as well not have a kid at all. And so I guess that's part of it as well. Like, being a parent probably has a lot of pain to it.
It's very hard. I personally love the purpose responsibility gives me. Being responsible for a child, being responsible for someone else is an ultimate privilege, and really gives me fulfillment.
So does the fulfillment that you get from having a kid, you're talking about it taking away the companionship that you have with your partner?
I'm saying it definitely does. And I would say, I can't speak for every relationship, but I think there is another layer of pressure it adds, because there's a focus taken away from, like, what are we doing on the weekend? Yeah. Just us. Do you want to go away? Should we go to, we can't do that. And so what that creates is a lack of time to connect. So it just means that you need to work on it.
Yeah. So, because I think about what my future is, and I think about companionship. I think about Bree, and I think about traveling and doing things and having a home and being able to give love and give back and do things like having extended family, or having people like Bodhi, kids in it, like, that aren't ours, but that we can have shared experiences with. I think it's
it's unique. I think you're paddling down, you're paddling upstream. Most people are going down in terms of your thinking around kids. I don't know many people. My brother actually says he doesn't want kids, but I don't know when he started saying that. You've been saying it forever.
Well, which I just wonder. I feel like there is, and maybe it's because every parent, every kid, we all have parents. And so if we think about who we look up to, or who we have to model off, we have our parents, and our parents, for the most part, are going to say, being a parent's awesome, or you should be a parent, because that's a value that by default everyone has, because everyone has a parent. And so I guess that's part of it too, right? Which is like the people who didn't have kids, I would hear my parents talking about sad that they like, what are they going to do when they're older? Or, you know, when is so-and-so going to find a partner? You know, when are they going to have kids? But it feels like it feels like there's another option. At the moment, it feels like it's either you have kids or you choose a path of less fulfillment or
I don't think it's like that. I see what you're saying, though, that people, the way it's painted, can come across like that. But there's a lot of fuckwits in the world that
but also,
are projecting.
I think it also sets the idea that by making that choice, that there's certain things within that character of the person that is not good for society in regards to like not like. I think that it's either you have kids, which means you're an external loving, like someone who's fulfilled and all that sort of thing, or you are independent, individually focused, not a community person. Whereas I feel like there is that other option, which is like Bree and I haven't ruled out adopting. We could adopt eventually, or we could do something else, but it's just like
arc of the show.
Yeah, exactly. It would be very good. Could you imagine? We could go to
young Timmy.
Go to wherever we're picking him up from.
No, I mean Amy has a want to adopt, and it's interesting. I mean, that's a conversation where I'm on the other side, where I'm saying I want a child. Like it becomes like this selfish thing where you're like, well, I want a baby that's mine.
What does that?
Which doesn't mean I don't have empathy, sympathy for kids that need to be adopted, because there's amazing kids that need a home and need loving parents.
So what is it that you're then seeking?
Well, I don't know. I feel like 2 kids is what I think in my head of what I'd like based off having one. You think, for me, I was like, 3 would be great, but then you realise 1's fucking hard, and you were just thinking about what you came from, 3 kids, and then I think about I don't know. See, this is the thing, right? Another arm of this conversation is: are you selfish? Is it a selfish choice to want your own child, your own blood, your own mini-me? Is it this fucking narcissistic thing? I don't know. Is it, or is it just?
I think it's interesting
taking a bloodline along. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I feel like and it's a conversation Amy and I have had, and it's not an easy conversation. If she wants to adopt and I want to have another child.
How much of it is practical? How much is it like when I'm 70? There's going to be, I'm going to have kids who can come to the beach house, and they're going to have kids. Like, how much are you trying to?
I've never thought that far. I've never thought like that. I've never thought. I mean, I didn't think we were going to have a baby. I mean, I knew what I was doing when we made him, but I've never been in that. Like, I've always like Mr. 97 ordeal. I've never gone, I can't wait to have kids. Like, it's happening in this date and we're planning. It just happened, and I'm like, this is great. This is another challenge.
But I think that in regards to, I reckon you're very engaged as a dad compared to a lot of people. Like, it is a priority. You're thinking about what needs to be done. There's a lot of, like, I think about the old school thing, which is like, like my dad was at work a lot. So it's like he's working, mum's, taking us to school, dropping off, all that sort of thing. But it feels like there's more, like I was calling Blage this morning. He's like, dropping off, the kids or whatever. It's like my dad wasn't real. Like he was left by 6 and
Dad was working 6. The same too. Loving. My dad was really loving. Is really loving, if not more of a softie than he's ever been. Yeah. Since us having grandkids and seeing a different. But I feel regret. I feel guilt. Working, like being in late, not being able to pick him up. Like I feel those things because I actually want to spend time with him.
What do you think about the pressure of parents having to have a career doing well within their work, and then also having kids and being a great parent.
It is a complex equation. One of the women at daycare inappropriately said to Amy, because we picked up Bodhi late, why? Because he was acting up. He pushed the baby over.
Mm-hmm.
He's a kid. He's fucking just a bit out there. He's not.
Was the baby being a fucking idiot?
Probably.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what Bodhi told me. But she said, in reference to his behaviour, is this why you leave? Is this why you drop him off early and pick him up late? It was something along those lines, which is super fucking triggering and inappropriate for somebody who we're paying money. Like the problem is, I think it's highly emotional, and her job is very hard and emotionally taxing, because I know what it's like being around a kid for, couple of hours before they go to sleep, let alone 30 kids that are running around. No, there's no time between. I can get how it could just be emotionally draining, because other times she's amazing and she loves Bodhi, this woman. And
did you bring it up with her?
I wasn't in the conversation. It's literally happened twice where she said something like this and I haven't been there. So I don't know if it's just the times she's saying it to Amy. I don't know. I don't know if maybe she'd say it to me if I was there in the times that he'd been.
It seems hard to fight a fight that when you're not, because there's context, there's tone.
Exactly. Who was there? Pushed the kid over in front of their parents and they were very angry. Are they just telling us firmly because the parent complained? I don't know. My point being is there are things coming from every angle that rattle you as a parent and can trigger you to feel guilt or shame, or which is, I think, the signals you get as someone who doesn't want kids is when someone says it's amazing, it's this, it's that. It's like, well, if you say that, it surely means the opposite. That it means that I'm doing everything.
No, but I think that you're saying missing it. Well, saying missing out.
I'm just saying. I'm saying what people might say. Oh, you're missing out. It's the best, or it's so you're saying my situation is the worst. I think
no, it's not saying that, but I think it's the language then becomes, it feels like it's judgmental, or maybe when you are walking a different path. So, for instance, if you see yourself as gender fluid or gender neutral, people using pronouns are more likely to upset you or trigger you based on not being able to understand or empathize or identify with what those people are saying. And so even though we might say he and she and just use it, all that sort of thing, for someone who doesn't identify, that does have some sort of feeling of like, based on the language that we're talking, I don't fit within this conversation, or based on this conversation, I am not equal, or
I mean, you feel left out. You feel, I mean, you can't. Yeah, so that's just how someone's feeling.
But it's also like it's the way society is set up. It's like there's a lot of that unconscious stuff that's constantly happening, and we don't even consider it.
Well, we're categorizing, right? Male, female, simple. Look at Bodhi, long hair, little girl, obviously.
Yeah.
No, he's got a little dicky.
Yeah.
So does Daddy. But if he doesn't want that when he's older, so be it. Whatever he feels like.
The adopting stuff is interesting.
It's tough, and I think.
So what is the actual thought process? Like, go from
I know how hard
practical.
It is, and I don't want to not give a kid who's
having a kid's hard. Giving birth is hard.
Giving a kid, yeah. Which is the other thing. If Amy said, "I'm done. I'm not fucking doing that shit again,"
do you think
I'm not going to argue with that. That's one of the hardest things she's ever done.
Do you reckon she'd feel the pressure? If you say,
I'm not labouring on about, she wants to have another kid. We get to that point where you forget about how hard it was, and then you're like, I reckon I could probably go again now.
Yeah. And so what is the
like I mean, the thing is, I'm not anti-adoption. I think it's amazing if you can adopt. It's just saying, this is the hard thing, right? Where you can be severely judged based on just the fact that I want to have a baby with my wife, like we've had Bodhi, if we can, and if not, then maybe I would think of something else.
But I guess if it's coming from, if if you both have the universal value that we want to have a kid and we want it to be ours, it's a non-issue. But the fact that one person in the partnership is bringing up the adoption thing does bring up the question of like, okay, why can't we? What is the actual practical, if you were to think about it, because I haven't looked into it.
Well, no,
what is
practically, I don't know anything when it comes to the practical nature of it. Ryan John picked up when he was 6 weeks old.
Yeah.
There he is, born. He's now got a loving mum and dad. You know, like it's amazing, right?
I wonder if Ryan John would be likely to adopt.
I'm sure he has I'm sure he has a strong feeling towards that being something that he would do. Like as if you wouldn't, right? Yeah. I know a guy who was adopted. No, maybe he wasn't adopted. The mother was raped and he was the baby from that.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy. Like he's amazing. It's what a fucking thing to feel. What an existence to think where it started. And, you know, it's fucking mind blowing. And so, yeah, I've got nothing against adoption. I think it's great.
Why is it not for you?
I don't know. I can't articulate it. What have I thought before? I've thought I don't know. So we're not talking like this is not like we've said, great, we want to adopt a kid at 6 weeks. It's not been like that. If I was to build a case, I would like to adopt at a young age so that they can integrate into the family.
Yeah.
I feel like at the moment we're definitely not set up to take on a kid that's 3-4 years old. Yeah. If that's that's how it happens. I don't even know how it is. I wouldn't want to put a kid through that at that age.
So if it was just if it was pick him up at 6 weeks.
I don't know if I feel, and maybe I could be completely wrong, but the connection, the emotional connection, I don't know. It's something you'd have to build. There is definitely something chemically that goes on with a child. Once, you know, for a woman.
Yeah.
Definitely for a woman as the baby comes out. And then the baby latches on and some women don't experience it, some others do. There's like, what is it? There's a chemical that's released that bonds you with your child, right? Which is at birth. Not everybody has this release. Sometimes they can give you the chemical, the thing that will help release it as the baby's latching on and connecting, right? And I know the feeling I had with my child, Bodhi, after 9 months of talking with my wife, feeling her in the tummy, like that whole process is like the unknown. And I don't know. Because this is the thing. You can feel selfish for thinking like this.
I mean, what's the goal of having a kid?
I don't know if there's a goal. I'm not goal.
Well, why do you do it? Like, what's the value that you're trying to?
I don't know.
Adhere to
when it's an accident.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't an accident. I mean, for you, it was.
But we were never like.
It was intentions.
We're never doing this though, dude. The guy that knocks up a girl at 18. What's his goal? His goal was single focused in that moment for 1 minute.
Yeah, but I think that there's
But I definitely don't think about what's the goal here. It has never crossed my mind. What's the goal here?
Well, isn't a question why a good question to ask?
I don't know. I don't know how.
Why do we ask why when we're buying a house or when we're going to school or when we're doing like if you think about it. We ask why about all these things.
Because what's the cost? The cost is...
But the cost is huge. Like bringing someone into the world.
Yeah.
There's a huge cost to...
But we're not talking about something that no one does. We're talking about something that is a part of the human experience for a lot of people.
But that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying. So because it's a universal thing...
I think because it's so universal, it's not something I'm going through going, what's the goal here? It's like, it's not uncharted for... the human existence. It's not out of the norm. If you're looking at, like we've all been children. We've all come from that place. Someone's sacrificed for us. And so I do see it. And so retrospectively, I think I didn't have a goal, but then you look at what it does to you as a human and what you need to give up, what your focus shifts, what you... it's like I think I've seen young mothers that have been that have fallen pregnant at a young age, super mature, and it's done something, and so it's done something to them where it's like it's given them an understanding of this life we're living that has come from that. And so it's not to say that it's not if you haven't had that, whatever. It's just it is. And so
was it a lifestyle decision?
Mate, if it's a lifestyle decision, wouldn't you think your lifestyle decision is geared around creating a great lifestyle, like a?
But isn't that
relaxed?
a great? But isn't
no? But I'm saying like.
But I think like having.
What's a lifestyle decision though?
Well, a lifestyle decision is, I want to be able to spend Christmas with a family. Or
I don't know. I don't think most people look at it like this. I don't think most people look at it going goal.
So why do people do it?
I think people fall pregnant. People have a soft like.
But
I
we've
think
got
there's
two
a
young
connection.
dudes here, and they've both said, "I can imagine myself having a kid." I mean, what is it for you guys?
What are the core human traits like love, like the emotions that you feel? It stimulates all of those, and it is highly rewarding. And I think that's why we see. I don't know. People have just an affection for and a soft spot, like a caring and loving, and maybe some people who haven't experienced this in their life, they didn't have a loving upbringing. That could be a goal. Maybe I see that as something that's like I want to do what wasn't done for me. I could see that, but I've never articulated like that. I came from a very loving environment, family, very blessed that was the case for me, and lots of opportunities as a kid. And we're trying to find answers to fucking complex shit. But
it's a question that
I think
I'm
it's probably why you don't have kids, because you ask these questions. Because I don't think you would have kids. I don't think you'd have kids. I don't think you'd have.
Have you guys asked these questions for yourself?
No, only because I've never been in a situation where it's been a possibility. Like I've never been in a relationship where the end goal was to get married and have kids, per se, or the end goal was to get married and create a life for ourselves. And say in the future, if getting married is the end goal and then creating a life for ourselves, and kids happen to be a part of that lifestyle, then I'm okay with that. But say in the situation that I marry a girl that can't have kids, or like we can't have kids, it just doesn't work. That's not, in my, like the way I see it, it's not a bad thing. It's just what life gives you, really.
What do you think, Mr. 97?
Yeah, I think there's probably, I mean, for me, and it sounds like it from Tommy as well, and I guess that's what he was trying to articulate, but it's like there's sort of an innate desire in a lot of people to crave that actual connection and that relationship with a kid, to actually care and love for someone. And I guess the way that I think about it is less about a goal like, oh, I can't wait to spend Christmas, but it's just like looking at Tommy and like the videos of Bodhi and him just like laughing or playing together. It's that sort of connection that you can't really explain, that you sort of crave.
Do you think that you crave that connection more than you do a life partner or a companion?
Yeah, maybe at the moment, yeah. I think for me it's dependent upon who I surround myself with. So I see like Tommy with Bodhi, and that's something that I want. Yeah. I think at the moment, if I had to think of it like that, then yeah, that would be something that I'm more looking forward to. But
I think it's hard to have a goal for something you don't know. You don't know what you don't know, and I didn't know what it would do, and I didn't know how it would make me feel. If I retrospectively look back and I was to think, okay,
but you can
if I was to know what I know now back then before I had a kid, maybe I would have thought the goal is to have a kid because I want those feelings. That was never the step.
How much of it is seeking a family dynamic versus an individual relationship with your kids?
I think it's great. Like I think about the fond memories of my childhood of family holidays and mum and dad and seeing my mum and dad love each other so much and my brothers and just this family environment. And I think maybe you want to replicate it. I think that's probably something a lot of people do. They say, well, I had that great loving environment. I'd love to replicate that because I knew what it felt like.
Yeah.
I feel like Amy and I, there's moments I feel like I'm a kid again having Amy and Bodhi coming home, wanting to be at home, like feeling the warmth of my house.
I did feel
thinking
that
of a kid.
The other day when Trev Long did a post about all the kids were out and they were watching TV and they were, because it was school holidays, they all had their sleeping bags.
I think we want to, a lot of us want to teach. A lot of us, like there's so much fulfillment in teaching. I got it when I was PTing. Like I had a lot of fulfillment helping others become better and learn. And I know you love that. And it's definitely a reward of being a parent. You look at yourself and I think about Bodhi's just started bike riding. Like he had the first, over the weekend, he just, he's big enough now for his little pedalless bike where he can, and we put him down the hill and he knows how to balance. And it's like, fuck, this is amazing. I'm thinking about riding the Roubaix next year, Melbourne race. Like I can't wait to bike ride with him. And it's I don't know, it's this weird thing where you've got and at this moment I have a very uncomplicated relationship with somebody who's my best friend. Yeah. And that's fucking amazing. And if you don't have that, you just don't have that. Maybe you find that in your wife, your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, And so I don't know. I think
how do people decide? How do people know whether they're making the right decision?
When's the right time to have a baby? I think the answer is there's no fucking right time. It stretches you regardless. You won't have enough money. You don't have enough money today. When you earn more money, you won't have enough money then.
Because I've heard that a lot. People say it's never a right time to have a kid.
I don't think it is.
Which I agree with. But then there's people that just shouldn't have a kid or based on, their thoughts or what they want from life. And so that's...
Kids can be life-saving. I'm not saying that's why you should do it to try and save your life, but I'm sure the reason people have turned their life upside down is because of
turning it around,
turning it upside down, going the other way, down to 180, going back
upside down. When I think of upside down, I think of disaster.
Upside down, turn it upside down. Here's my life. I'm going to switch it upside down. I was up the wrong way.
Okay,
so you're up the wrong way. Now you're back upside. Sure, I think it's you can use that
upside down.
And
have you ever thought about that? Upside down. Yeah. I've never thought about it.
I think it's what side are you on?
Up. Side. The up side is down. Is that what it's saying?
Basically.
Up.
The upside is facing down.
Can you Google it, please? Upside down. But before we go and end Fat Fridays, let's...
fucking Bodhi doesn't ask these stupid questions.
He definitely will. Phrase of the week. Upside down. Was that what we're calling it?
It's just a word, upside down.
But what does it mean?
What is the meaning of upside down?
With the upper part where the lower part should be, in or into an inverted position.
Okay.
Read the first bit again.
Here's a question. Is to use that phrase, is gravity relevant?
Read it again.
Because then,
up,
you know what I mean? Like if there's no gravity, what the fuck point. Is up and what is down?
Read it one more time.
That's
slowly.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
With the upper part where the lower part should be.
Wait, slow. Stop for a sec. Upper part where the lower part
should be.
Should be. Okay. So if the roof was flipped onto the floor, that's upside down.
But is it relevant to gravity? Because then there wouldn't be...
Actually, it makes a lot more sense. So it's only ever referring to the up bit being down, not downside up.
Well, that would be downside up.
But it's just interesting, isn't it? Anyway.
Flipping it upside down.
Upside down.
Hang on, what is the opposite of upside down?
Downside up?
Right side up.
Right side up. What is the terminology? You know what I mean?
Listen, we're just a couple of gronks trying to make it in the world.
Trying to work it out.
I'm just over here trying to breed a bunch of gronks.
Gronk Squad. It's a Daily Talk Show. If you've listened this far, please screen grab it, share it on Instagram stories, tag up the Daily Talk Show, even Josh Janssen, Tommy Jackett. What you haven't done 3D Dill yet?
No, but
Dylan.
I'm Dylan_Torville, 2 R's, 2 L's.
And Mr. 97's on Instagram as well. Otherwise, Weekend Banter is tomorrow and Sunday, and go to thedailytalkshow.com and consume all the content there, and you can even send us emails, you can get fucking stickers, you can sign up to Gronk Squad.
Can you check how many people are on the website right now?
No, we've got real sticky I don't know if you guys know.
My face is disgusting, mate. I don't recommend that KFC. I mean, you ate the whole thing, 3D Deal. Have you finished that?
Man,
For both
I
of them.
finished that before Josh finished his.
Did you?
Really?
Yeah.
Fair effort.
Mate, we need to get him eating against
Hulk smash food.
I mean, you'll lose, but
Yeah,
It'd be good
guaranteed.
fun.
he's confident.
It's a Daily Talk Show. We'll see you on the weekend, guys, for Weekend Banter.
See you guys. They choked on a chip.